Hey there, future scientist. Welcome to another deep dive.
That's right. Back for another one.
And I hear you're already quite the science fan. Math, history, all that good stuff, right?
A curious mind is a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. Well, are you ready to explore something truly amazing? Today, we're going to do a deep dive into how animals grow. Like, really grow.
Fascinating stuff.
It is, isn't it? We're going to learn what their bodies are made of,
Yeah.
like the super tiny stuff,
Yeah.
and how they change over time, from little babies to big grown-ups.
We'll talk about those changes, yes.
And we can't forget about the fuel they need for all that growing, right? So get ready to put your thinking cap on, because this is a journey into the incredible world of animal growth.
You got it.
Now, think about yourself for a second.
Okay.
You've gotten taller and stronger over time, haven't you?
I certainly hope so.
Well, animals grow in a similar way, but some end up way bigger than others, obviously. Like, you're probably not going to be as tall as a house anytime soon.
Probably not, no. That's because all living things, us included, are built from these teeny tiny blocks called cells.
Cells?
Yeah, cells. And that word actually comes from the Latin word cella, which means small room, which is pretty cool, right?
I like that.
Because they're like microscopic building bricks, and they make up everything in our bodies, like your skin, your muscles, everything.
Wow. So everything.
Pretty much, yeah. And just like you need energy to build a Lego tower, cells need energy to grow and do their jobs. They need food and stuff, just like you.
So even when I'm not building with Legos, those little cells are still working hard.
Oh, they never stop. They're always busy building and repairing, and that's where food comes in. Remember how a car needs gasoline to run?
Yeah.
Food's like fuel for our bodies, you see. It gives our cells all the energy they need to build, repair, and keep everything running smoothly.
That makes sense, like when I'm super hungry after playing outside.
Yeah.
It's like my cells are saying, hey, we need more fuel over here.
Exactly. You got it.
Speaking of changing and growing, I've always thought it's so cool how fast baby animals grow up. Like, remember those little ducklings we saw?
Oh, those were adorable.
They were tiny. I bet they're much bigger now.
Oh, absolutely. Growing is like a key part of the cycle of life, you see. Animals are born, they grow and develop, they have their own babies sometimes, and then, well, eventually their life cycle ends.
It's kind of sad, but yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, it's just like a caterpillar changing into a butterfly. It's a beautiful example of change, And remember, food's what gives them the energy for every step of that journey.
So food is like the energy that flips the pages of their life story, huh? But here's a question. How did people first discover these tiny cells? They're so small you can't even see them without a microscope.
That's where things get really interesting. A long time ago, people didn't have the tools we have today.
So how'd they figure it out?
Well, early scientists, they were like detectives. They made super careful observations, studied how plants and animals were put together, and did lots of experiments to try and unlock those mysteries.
Like real scientific detectives.
Exactly. One of those detectives was a guy named Antony van Leeuwenhoek.
Antony van Leeuwenhoek.
He was the first person to see living cells under a microscope. And it was a really simple microscope, too. He was a pretty amazing guy.
So they were looking for the building blocks of life. That's amazing.
It is. And think about it, we've learned so much about life since then, but there's still so much more to discover.
Like what?
Well, look around. The world is full of incredible creatures, from the smallest insects to those giant whales.
Yeah, like the white whale from Moby Dick.
Right. And, while the basic idea of cells multiplying and growing is the same, different animals grow in different ways depending on where they live and all that.
Makes sense.
Like, have you ever thought about how a bird's wing grows so it can fly? Or how fish have fins to help them swim?
I haven't really thought about that.
Every animal has its own special adaptations that make it perfectly suited to its life.
Wow. Yeah.
And even within the same species, like dogs, you see amazing differences. Think about a tiny Chihuahua versus a big Great Dane.
Woof. Woof.
Woof, woof. It's all thanks to those instructions in their genes that tell their cells how to grow. Genes are pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, but do all the cells in my body look the same? I mean, my skin doesn't feel like my bones.
No, that's a brilliant question. You're totally right. Cells come in all shapes and sizes, each with its own special job.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Like nerve cells are long and thin so they can send signals throughout your body.
Wow.
While muscle cells are long and strong to help you move around. It's like a whole city of cells working together to keep everything going.
So to recap, we learned that animals, and us too, are made of super tiny cells that multiply and grow, fueled by the energy we get from food.
You got it.
And scientists have been figuring all this out for a long time, using observations and experiments to learn about the amazing variety of life on Earth.
It's a never-ending journey of discovery.
It makes me want to grab my magnifying glass and go exploring.
That's the spirit. Keep asking those questions, keep observing. And who knows, you might even make your own big discovery someday.
That's pretty cool. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Hey, bet.
Until next time, keep exploring.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.